Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. I am so excited to point you guys to a conversation that myself and my co-host Basil were able to have with Dr. FreeKentHovind. He was freed from prison last week or 2 weeks ago actually, and we were able to catch a conversation with him, hear his side of the story, his experience while in prison, and it was just overall a wonderful conversation, and I was really excited to be able to connect with him, and you can get that at canarycryradio.com. It's episode 96, so you can check it out. Also, just a quick thank you to Sam and Dan from God's Property Radio. They were the ones that were able to hook us up with Dr. FreeKentHovind, and they're also online with us during the conversation, and they kind of hang back and don't say much, but I appreciated Sam and Dan because they hooked us up with Kent. And one thing that I do want to mention as part of this is that I asked Dr. Hovind about his date setting, because if you go on Wikipedia, which, again, somebody mentioned in the comments the other day, Wikidpedia, which, I guess that's sort of accurate because anyone can really edit it. Some people have accused him of date setting and predicting that the return of Christ would happen in 2028. And according to this list here on Wikipedia, here you go, you have Alice Bailey, 2025, and then you have FreeKentHovind as 2028. And I even see Mark Biltz here, September 28th, 2015, and this is not a prediction. Okay, I had the conversation with Kent. He said, I did not predict it. He said, this is my guess, and he gave reasons why. This is a little bit different from making a bold claim and a prediction saying when Jesus will return. And I'm going to actually play that little snippet of the conversation for you because I think it's warranted. And so here is that small snippet from the conversation we had with FreeKentHovind of him explaining about this whole thing. I wanted to touch on is, we understand that date setting is kind of a dangerous game in terms of potentially being labeled a false prophet or heretic or something like that. And the biblical mandate for a false prophet is pretty severe in the Old Testament. But according to some, corners of the internet, I've read that in 2013, you predicted the return of Jesus Christ for the year 2028. Do you stand by that date?
That is not correct.
Okay. I wanted to make that clear.
Right. When I was writing my book, What on Earth is About to Happen, I sent out a newsletter and said, if you have any questions, send them to me. So somebody said, Kent, I know you don't know, and you'll say I don't know. What is your best guess? And so I said at the very end of the book, I wrote a little one two-page letter, said, okay, 3 pages. My best guess is the Lord's coming back in 2028. And the tribulation starts in 2021. Based on the following 10 or 12, whatever it was, factoids to consider. So, no, I did not predict the Lord's coming back. I said, this is my wild guess. All it is. I'm
really glad that you clarified that, because there are, there are people, and the internet has become this hub of opinions abound. And, there are certain people going after FreeKentHovind because he predicted, he set dates for the return of Christ. So I'm really glad that you clarified that. So there you have it. An explanation for FreeKentHovind's alleged date setting and prediction for the return of Christ. I think it's debunked here. I think anyone who claims to call him a false prophet because he, quote unquote, predicted the return of Christ is not being truthful with their information. So that's about it for this video. Go check out the podcast. We had a great conversation again, and I think many of you might be pleasantly surprised at some of his changes in doctrine, especially in the rapture area. He definitely changed positions while he was in prison. He said he had plenty of time to study. He wrote 37 books while he was in prison, and also responded to 18,000 letters that he received. And so, I think a lot of people were rooting for him, and I'm glad to see that he's out. I think it was an answered prayer in some regard, and I think he was a blessing to people in prison. I think people underestimate the fact that a lot of the Bible was written from people in prison or incarcerated in some way, and so it was overall a really, really nice conversation with Dr. FreeKentHovind, and I encourage you guys to go listen to it and share it with friends and family. And I'm more convinced than ever now that the reason why he was arrested and put in jail was completely illegal to some extent, and I think unlawful. And I think there was a greater agenda from the authorities than the alleged breaking of the structuring laws. So anyway, that's about it. Hope you guys have an awesome day. God bless.